and welcome to another Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, the day where I cover something other than war games. Today, I'm doing an exploration of sorts of Fluxx, the card game with ever-changing rules. This is kind of a Nomic game, which is a game that has changing rules over time as the game develops. And as you can see, there are lots of different themes, and these aren't all of the ones that are in the Fluxx universe. These are just some of the ones that I have picked up over the years in the Fluxx universe. And they all play generally the same way in that you have basic rules where you're going to start off with each player has 3 cards, and it plays up to several players. You can play I think it plays up to, well, it depends on how many decks you're playing, I guess, but you can play like 4 or 5, and you each get 3 cards, and then you choose someone to go first, and then you have the basic rules. You draw one and you play one. You draw a card, you play a card. That is it. That's the first rule that starts out, and that's how you play the game. Now, what might you play on your turn? Well, there's all kinds of different cards. There's cards that add new rules to the game. Draw 2, draw 4, play 3, draw 5, hand limit of 1, reverse order. So you could play these new rules out as one of your play cards, and now that replaces the old rule. So that instead of the draw 1, now you draw 2 each turn, and that replaces that rule. So you might have new rules that come out. You might have actions that come out where they do something that turn, like this one, take another turn. Discard all hands and keeper limits rule currently in place. You get rid of the rules. Go fish, discard and draw. So there's different actions that could come out as well. But what is really at the heart of the game? Well, the heart of the game is what are called keepers. And in later sets, they have creepers, which are bad effects or villains or bad things that can happen to you. A lot of creepers in the Cthulhu Fluxx. But a lot of creepers, I should say. But keepers are good things. These are what you want to have out because they're going to help you, get to some goals. And that's the whole point of the game, is to meet your goal. So like if you have this goal, rocket to the moon, you need to have rocket and moon in your keepers. And then you win that goal. And these goals will be changing over time because people will play, when you play a card, you can play a goal card and take out the goal that's out there. But there are some rules that allow you to have more than one goal out there. So you have a lot more flexibility. So that's basically the game, a relatively simple game. Each of these different theme sets add something a little bit different to play. They add the theme, like Wizard of Oz, you're going to have those characters. Monty Python, you're going to have those characters. Each one of these different themes are going to have those characters as keepers. You might have some villains or baddies that are creepers. The actions might play upon the themes as well. So there is, as I said, they all play somewhat the same, but they also have some differences in their theme. And the one thing that they do definitely have in common, other than the basic rules, is it's very chaotic. Some games, a game could take 5 minutes or an hour, and that's it. Sometimes it outstays its welcome, and that's why people don't like it. Why do I like these? Well, when my kids were littler, when they're younger, then we would play these quite a bit. I mean, you have some science theme ones like anatomy and chemistry, but you also have some of these, Wizard of Oz. You have some other themes that kids can get into a little bit easier. And actually, adults can play this too. This is a nice little filler game if it doesn't outstay its welcome. As I said, if it's starting to take a little bit of time, it can get a little long, and this is basically the same process. It's very chaotic. So. But it's still interesting enough game, especially if you can pick up some of these, for a cheaper price. They're all done by Looney Labs, which are known for their somewhat irreverent and chaotic type games. Now, why am I covering this on a Sanctuary Sunday? You have some sci-fi themes in here, some fantasy themes maybe even as well. But no, I picked out Sanctuary Sunday for two reasons. Number one, Fluxx is the basic game is very, generic and very core to a system of trying to collect the right keepers to get your right goal. But one of the reasons I'm doing it on this Sanctuary Sunday, because this is a special Sanctuary Sunday, because my oldest is graduating from high school. Yes, my first one to leave the nest. You played a lot of games with him over the years as he got more interested in other things, especially computer games and hanging out with his friends. We didn't play as many games, although we did just this last weekend. We played a game as a family. So we played a couple rounds of a game as a family, and it was good to get back to that again. But kids, they grow up, they get different interests, and they move on, and he's moving on to a big part of his future career now. He's going off to college. And so that's another reason why I kind of picked Fluxx today, because Fluxx kind of represents that in some respects. You're going to have some rules that you're going to have to deal with. The rules in high school are, can be somewhat rigid, or it depends on the kind of school you go to. The kind of college you go to is going to have its own kind of set of rules and the way things are done. And they're preparing you for life after college, which, the workforce is going to have its set of rules. And sometimes they change over time, and you got to be kind of prepared for that. There's going to be different actions and decisions that, he's going to make over time. And those decisions are going to affect his overall career and his overall development, which kind of gets us to the goals. There's going to be different goals in time, over time and in his life. For me, I kind of set my goals relatively early. Back in high school, I kind of knew where I wanted to end up career-wise, and I kind of stuck to that. So my goal was kind of out there. Nobody was changing it. But, win the lottery. Let's get that as a goal. But for him, he's, what he wanted to do or what he wanted to study last year is starting to wane a little bit. And he's already looking at possibly option number 2 with a chance of option number 3. So his goals are going to be changing, and Fluxx kind of represents that. There's a little bit of a flux there. As you go through life, your goals might change. You might want career, you might want family, you might want wealth, business, you might want entertainment, or just to be happy, or live in a certain spot. So your goals, might change, and with those goals, what skills you acquire, your keepers, sleep, brain, developing your brain, love, money, time, dreams, all those things, are going to affect what goals you have, and vice versa. What goals you go for affect what are some of the things you want to do as a creeper, or as a keeper, I should say. And you might get some creepers. You might get a malfunction that comes out there. For him, once he picked up a computer and got into building computers, that took up a lot of his time. But, now, he's thinking about he's actually going into college as an engineer, but, he has a backup. He might want to go into medicine or law. I don't have law, so I got a scientist here. So the different type of skills that you develop in your life are, have a direct correlation to the kind of goals, and vice versa. What you want to head for, you kind of start developing your skills. So that's why I decided to do Fluxx today, because I thought it was a kind of a nice overview of in some respects, analogy to life, and how things change over time. Definitely goals change, rules change depending on our environment. What we find important and what we want to strive for change. The actions we take, the decisions we make, and we're going to make wrong decisions, and that's okay. The key is learning from them and making sure, that we don't continually make the wrong decisions, because that could lead to bad results. But as long as we're learning, and as long as we try to understand them, then, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. We all make them. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. A little bit about Fluxx. Not a game for everybody. In fact, some people just loathe it because it is so chaotic and random at times. But other people, you know, really do like it. They like, you know, they collect all the different sets. I have, probably too many, you know, for my liking, but I do like seeing the themes change from time to time and seeing how they implement the themes. But it is a relatively, you know, basic system of keepers, goals, and rule changes, and, you know, a Nomic type game. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. I'm gonna hope my son watched this. I've talked to him about these things before, but you know how teenagers are. Anyway, I hope you're having a great Sunday. Hope you're spending time with your family, friends, loved ones, playing a game, or doing what you like. Whatever your goal is, I hope you're striving for it. I hope you have some good keepers. Stay away from the creepers, and have a good one. Thanks for watching.